Oh, wait. Don't start the episode yet. I'm not ready. Sorry. Sorry about that. I was just reporting a bug there. But I want to talk to you folks about a bug I can't report. It all started the other day when I logged in and found myself back in the beta universe. Now, inside of these spin-off dimensions, which only live temporarily, your past can come back to haunt you. Literally. As I found myself in a wanted beluga equipped with beam lasers. What the hell was I doing? But, of course, the great thing about these betas is they give you a glimpse into the future, into changes yet to come. Sometimes small changes, like turning my bookmarks orange for no reason. But in this particular beta, the shiny new toy was the change, allowing pilots to buy themselves a fleet carrier, if they could find a place to buy one on the confusing map, that is. Now, some would go to the forums, but personally, I like the old ways of sitting in Jameson Memorial and shouting in the local chat in order to get the latest scoop on where things are popping off. But as it just so happened to turn out, the nearby Commander Thalian Solar Storm was in the neighborhood. He knew where to go to see the $6 billion shinies. Now, at the time, I was still optimistic. I had heard how expensive they were to buy, how you had to have fuel for them, sit around waiting for them to jump, and then pay insane amounts of money just to keep them going. Oh, and insane amounts of money just to make them more useful than a backpack strapped to a hyperdrive. But maybe they would be so cool, they would be worth it, right? I mean, if they were just shitty, scaled-down versions of dockable megaships, then they wouldn't actually make these things $147 billion, right? That'd be as stupid as equipping beam lasers on a beluga and speccing it out so that it would overheat just by jumping. I mean, no one's that stupid, right? Right? Well, having no cash, I was not going to get to appreciate ownership on this investigation. I was going to have to rely on other pilots letting me dock with their carriers. Fortunately, when I dropped into the system, I soon realized that, well, you could say that things got a little carriered away. Yes, as far as the eye could see, this system was clogged up with generic fleet carriers at every body, to the point where finding a station was like finding a needle in a nebula. For all the cost, there are certainly a lot of fleet carriers. It makes me think that every fleet carrier out there must represent a neglected wife or child. Perhaps even job abandonment. I mean, seriously, this is just one system, and look at how many people out there could grind at least 6 billion. There are pilot seats out there with butt imprints so deep they get mentioned in philosophy textbooks. And I had picked a carrier at random to break in my fleet virginity. Commander Sulan Zhao, I don't know who you are, but I hope you don't mind me getting up all in your personal carrier space. For science purposes, of course. And look, I have to say, these things don't look half bad and sound twice as nice, which is usually the case in this universe. But after megaships and generational ships, it's going to take more than a pretty hunk of metal to impress this spatula. Yeah, you know what? It's what's inside that counts. And I need to see this carrier from the inside out. Now, as with any time docking with a new object, unfamiliar surroundings can lead to painfully shameful mistakes. Yeah, the only thing worse than making this particular mistake is the painfully slow pace of yaw that forces you to truly think about what you've done. Bad, Spatula. You are a very, very bad pilot. Now I managed to get past my dislike of change over the launch button reorganization and open up the station menu proper. And lo and behold, I was greeted with a whole new UI. I guess half the fun is having to relearn things. I felt pity on seeing nothing there in the shipyard, and, I decided to be charitable and give this random person the gift of one of my old Sidewinder bookmarks from back in the day when we used to use Sidewinders as bookmarks. And actually, still do use them to this day because the developers put an arbitrary limit on the number of bookmarks you could have. Maybe one day they'll let us buy additional bookmarks for 10 ARCs a month. But while exploring the menus, I discovered that pilots I had long since fired appeared in my roster once more. No, I'm sorry, Analia Bruce and Dong Rice. I won't let you leech any more of my money. But you're fine to stay, Roberto. Well, sadly, there were no commodities to buy or sell. Granted, it's early in the beta universe, but I was starting to wonder, what was the whole point of getting a carrier? Or docking on one? Even if you could buy a ship here, will it be overpriced? I mean, at least you get this cool kind of camera mode, and, I'd be able to do something with it if I own the carrier. $45 million a week, though. Are you kidding me? For the cost, even this camera is kind of wonky. Feels more like the default setting was built for console. Oh, now I'm triggered. I'm gonna have to go full PC Master Race here and just say that consoles are ruining everything, and I hate them. Ooh, console people, ooh, I hate you so much. I even hear there's a secret console universe of people out there, and they only affect the BGS, but you can never see them. Like phantoms. Spooky. Well, this is interesting. Okay, I feel a little nauseous. But seriously, what the heck is this? It seems like originally there was this idea for squadron-owned carriers that would have support ships and be spec'd out for mining or combat or exploration and customizable. But what I see here, it just looks more like the disparity between the lofty ideals of communism and, well, the Gulag. In other words, fleet carriers seem to join the likes of Galnet, the Gnosis, Multicrew, Powerplay, CQC. Remember that Guardian puzzle? You know, half-baked, overcomplicated implementations that have extremely narrow applications. This universe is really starting to look like a $500 steak cooked beyond well done and smothered in ketchup. Doesn't take a detective to see why it's priced at $500 billion a year. The developers will naturally cut the price down, maybe even flip it and give a small passive income. And then the galaxy will cry cheers of joy, lauding them as heroes. But then months later, space will just be filled with generic garbage barges, sitting around as people's personal storage lockers, clogging up the navigational menus and system maps as people gradually lose interest. So what the heck did I want to see? What would have made Spatula happy? Well, let's use a little creativity to think about what might have been. So, I think the original idea of fleet carriers being tied to squadrons was the right move. Would it make sense for a fisherman to purchase an aircraft carrier? It makes more sense to have fleet carriers be squadron flagships, not personal barges. Since anyone can create a squadron, it's not going to exclude anyone. It just makes more sense that in the lore, a crewed vessel of that size would have some kind of organization behind them, not some random murder hobo. And then you have squadrons rallying around their one carrier, not 100 personal fleet carriers clogging up your group's home system. It just makes more sense too, considering the cost. And another thing I'm very sad about is that there's no combat gameplay. I mean, fleet carriers being able to jump into war zones or attacking other carriers in long-scale, objective-based battles would be awesome. They jump like capital ships anyway, and it really would have made for interesting large conflict zone instancing issues. Yeah, that's probably why that will never happen. But look, going with the above, even the ability to raid a carrier for loot, similar to megaship piracy, would have created some fun new options for the scum of the galaxy. Or the ability to force a carrier to jump out of a system could have also been interesting for strategic purposes in faction warfare. But then you run into this whole idea of maintenance. Fine, you need some kind of cost factor in there over time, but instead of maintenance leading to an existential threat to the carrier via decommissioning and depreciation, like what the fuck is this, a banking seminar? No. Make the maintenance relate to unique services. For example, weekly security fees. You can pay a weekly security fee to have NPC security guards on your feet, and maybe this could be something for those inactive crew members to do rather than sitting around soaking up our damn cash. Or maybe you could set low, medium, and high security for different rates. And poor players might just consider parking their carriers in hidey spots like far-off stars to avoid the cost altogether and protect themselves from players. Now, you could also have optional marketing costs that would attract NPCs to fulfill your trade requests with higher spends resulting in faster hauls, or costly research projects that take massive amounts of credits but improve the max jump range by double for your next jump, or pay to send out drones to get back a random assortment of materials in a day. You get what I'm saying. The point is, you shouldn't have to pay to compete with better equipped stations just to stay afloat. Any kind of ongoing services should provide some intrinsic, additional, and unique value that only carriers can provide, and ideally create new things to do. But then speaking of costs, so now we have to wait 2 hours between jumps, but we also have to pay for it in fuel on top of that? Am I allowed to go to the bathroom and take breaks once I buy a carrier? This seems pretty simple. Just make it a choice between fuel or cooldowns. Wait an hour for a free jump, or load up on some fuel and jump right away, skipping the spool. Or maybe you can make cooldowns and spin-ups depend on the jump size. Let me jump to Beagle Point in one go, but it takes 2 weeks to spin up, and I'm stuck out there for another 2. The point is not to make it a chore to get around with 1 to 2 hour waits on your day-to-day jaunts around the bubble. That's just dumb. And of course, there should be some way for explorers to benefit. I think it should be as simple as this. You park your fleet carrier in an unexplored system, and slowly over time it generates money. That's it. Nice and simple. it does some exploration science shit in the background, and yet somehow make money off of that just by parking out of the bubble, putting it in science mode and letting it rake in a passive income. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, God. Well, I think that's enough. I could go on all day. Maybe some of that stuff is impossible, or maybe it was similar to some of the original ideas behind carriers and there were other technical complications. One thing I know is that's certainly a far cry from what we got in this beta. And it's not just a question of costs or maintenance or who these things are intended for. It's a question of where this universe is going and the confidence in the people who shape it. I just don't understand how you can work on something for 2 years and release this. I mean, they bring in new player systems, and then this end-game, life-ending content, and here I am stuck in the middle, wondering why there isn't more focus on what the majority of players are probably experiencing. The financial hurdle so large it makes a fleet carrier look like a hauler. But even if you took away the huge costs and ongoing fees, at its core, fleet carriers don't make this detective hot and bothered. Well, you know, I'm not just complaining about this stuff because it's fun to do. I really do love this galaxy. I spent the last 5 years investigating space mysteries in ways I could have only ever dreamed of. I just think I shit my spacesuit there. But I'm thankful to the ways that we all have a galaxy that we can share. One that is free from those dirty, dirty console people from ever interacting with us. They can affect the BGS, but whatever, I can ignore them. So that's lovely. But one galaxy that may be flawed, and it may be run by a cabal of sinister masochists, but maybe one day we'll look back on these moments of fury and passion and realize our concerns about fleet carriers were nothing compared to how messed up space lags will get. But what we can count on is being able to complain together as a community. That's a commodity you can't mine. Trust me, I tried. Many people died. Mining lasers kill people. But not all is lost. I noticed there seemed to be a queue for CQC in the game. A small glimmer of hope that someone within the developers is listening, and the broken features of the past aren't forgotten. Of course, you can queue for multicrew and CQC at the same time, so let's see which one wins. Now, I'd hoped to witness a carrier jump, but while the system I was in was overflowing with carriers, not a hollow dot was in sight on my radar. I guess everyone was self-isolating and social distancing in their carriers, but I didn't see an outbreak system status here. No matter. Through the painful process of random selection, I eventually stumbled on one planning to jump. I was going to have to wait 20 minutes. Waiting isn't something I would really say I have a skill set for, so I decided to pass the time by booping the carrier directly in its booping spot. Maybe one day carriers won't suck so bad. That'd be nice. Yeah. I'm just picturing that future where people are like, hey, an update came out and I'm very happy because everything's awesome. But, you know, that's the far future. You know, like after all this thing. Hey, what's that noise? Is that my stomach? Oh, wait. Oh, the carrier's jumping. Okay, I gotta get out of the way. Actually, what's going on here? Uh-oh, I think I've... Engines. Why are engines not working? I'm hearing the whirring noise. Help, I'm being booped. What is going on? Oh, it's jumping. Oh, here we go. Ooh, that's pretty jumping. Yeah, okay, so maybe not worth 6 billion, but it's definitely not worth less. Because just being able to trigger that, well, yeah, that's a privilege of ownership, I imagine. Yes, unfortunately, I'm just a peon here. Wait, what the hell? There it is. It's just right over there. Does it let you know? It's gone! Okay, that was kind of weird. That probably wasn't normal. Anyway, after visiting several carriers and becoming bored of the same experience over and over, I found myself appreciating a trip to the local station, replete with services, overflowing with commodities, and, universal cartographics is always nice, but I digress. The point is, this is a universe where we get to choose how we play. No one is forcing us to buy bio-waste, though if someone is forcing you to buy bio-waste, this station is apparently desperate to buy some. Unfortunately for me, they won't accept my samples on account they aren't being stored in a container, based on their opinion, since spacesuits do technically contain things. But look, if that's not enough to give you hope, I found a multi-crew victim, person. Yes, even in the beta universe of all places, I was able to find a companion to join me in my mission. To dump a load of beer on a local carrier to help christen its maiden voyage. Yes, ma'am, we're gonna have a great time together. Just you and me. Oh, yeah. Whoa, where'd you go? Oh, damn it. Oh, well, there goes the payload. Yep. That is how you christen a carrier, folks. Man, what a mess. All I can hope for now is the developers reconsider their pricing and tweak some of the numbers, but really, make a commitment to doing what they did for mining, for all the features like this, from carriers right down to the last limpet. But, you know, this commander likes to take breaks from games, usually after grueling grinds, long trips, or just too much space madness. I'll go planet-side, like the time I went to the Founders World and it just turned out to be Fallout New Vegas, which I'm in the process of documenting in video format. Subscribe, ha 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 ha. Or that time that I played a hell of a lot of XCOM 2, but, you know, in the end I keep coming home to this universe. And maybe one day I'll own my own Dangus Express. But until then, Raxel's still out there waiting to be discovered. And so I'll be out there too, doing things, doing space things, in space. Probably losing money at a ridiculous rate. I mean, not as bad as if I owned a carrier, but I do somehow have a talent for emptying my wallet. Not sure what it is. Like it's something, I think my account might be hacked. That's it. I'm blaming hackers for this. That's why I have no money. It has nothing to do with the decisions. Hey, that guy ran away. Awesome. See, I'm a scary person. People are scared of me. That's how you get respect, through fear. That's right. I'm a feared. What the hell is going on? Orange Sidewinder. What kind of error is that? Oh, see, even the game's afraid of me. Anyway, whatever. This has been Dangus. This has been Spatula. This is Elite Dangus. Hello. I mean, goodbye. Have a nice day. Happy quarantine, people.